time for News Hour. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the news. I am Suyoko. The price of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) has gone up by 15% from today, March 3, 2022, of the Price Stabilization and Recovery Levy on fuel products. The restored PSRL is 16 pesos per litre on petrol, 14 pesos per litre on diesel, 14 pesos per kilogram on LPG. LPG is now 9 cedis 80 pesos per kilogram, translating to about 140 cedis for a fourth, moved from 7 cedis 89 pesos to 8 cedis 12 pesos in December 2021. In the second window of January 2022, it went up to 8 cedis 22 pesos. Of February 2022, the price went up to 8 cedis 60 pesos and went up again in the second window to 9 cedis 29 pesos. Experts have warned the restored PSRL and its attendant increase in the price of LPG will further decrease the commodity's consumption rate and worsen the plight of the ordinary consumer. Meanwhile, the National Petroleum Authority has said it is discussing with the Finance and Energy Ministries to find a manageable solution to the persistent rise in fuel prices. It says the engagements will largely discuss the possible removal of some taxes on petroleum products. And my colleague visited some gas station in Accra this morning and has joined me in the studio to tell us more. Valencia, good afternoon. And how was it like? Tell us the places you went this morning, and then tell us the prices of the various commodities that you, especially with LPG.
Okay, so this morning the team and I went to Awudome gas filling station. And we also went to Labadi gas filling station, and also we went to Kaukudi gas filling station. So we at the Kaukudi gas filling station, we realized they have not changed. They have not received any change in the prices. But then they have heard of the news that the prices of the gas has increased. But then they are still going by the old prices, and with the same as to applies at Labadi gas filling station. But to the Awudome gas filling station, the prices were there. They had the information yesterday, so they started up implementing it this morning, and we realized some people were trooping in and out to get their gas filled. I realized some people were not aware the gas has been the price of the gas has been changed, because some people were there, they had to adjust their money, make some calculation, add and subtract some money to be able to get their the kilogram they are expecting.
So in these stations that you visited, you said 2 of the stations haven't affected the new change, and one, that means that Awudome had the new price in effect. Yeah. So have they displayed the prices of the commodity?
Yeah, we saw it on their notice board. They have pasted the new price on the notice board. So anyone who troops in, their customers who troops in to get their gas filled, they can see the prices over there, so that they wouldn't get confused. Probably if the officials had to explain things, they wouldn't understand. So they had to paste the new prices over there, so they wouldn't have to confuse them.
Yeah, I've spoken to one of the attendants at a gas station recently, and he says nowadays people come and they don't fill their cylinders, but rather buy according to how much they have in their pocket. Did you encounter some? Did you have some of the people buy maybe 20 cedis instead of maybe filling a 14.5 kilogram cylinder? Maybe they had only 20 cedis and would buy only 20 cedis. Did you see anybody doing that?
Yeah, I actually spoke with one man. He said he came to fill his gas just last weekend, and it was about 56 cedis, and today when he came it was 59 cedis. He didn't understand, and the money he had to do was just the 56 he had, so just left with his transportation. He had to fill the 56 he has so that he can be able to go back home with the rest of the transportation.
And speaking to the attendants, what did they tell you? Did they tell you whether the change of the prices on a regular basis really affecting their business or not?
Yeah, they speaking with some drivers, some of the drivers also use the gas to work. So I spoke with 1 or 2 people, and they said it's really going to affect them. So things continue to increase like this, then their businesses is going to go down, because day in day out, if the gas, the petrol is the prices are always increasing, then they don't know how they will go about their business. It's either they have to stop working and stay at home, or adjust to the situation at hand at the moment.
There's always a rapid change in prices of the gas.
Sure.
And what about the managers of the gas stations? Did you speak to some of them, and did they tell you whether it's affecting their sales, or they having their regular sales on a daily basis?
Okay, so in my encounter with some managers, the dollar rate is going up. So in as much as the dollar price is going up, they had to also increase their gas. Last week they increased fuel, so they also had to increase the price of their gas, so that they will be
break even or to make profit.
Sure.
Well, Valencia, thank you so much. And Valencia will bring you the full story in this the major news bulletin at 7. So thank you so much for joining us in the studio to give us updates on what you saw at the various gas stations here in Accra. You're still watching News Hour live on GBC News. Israeli companies have developed some of the world's most innovative types of fertilizers and soil inoculants for all kinds of soil types and plants. The companies are in Ghana to introduce these new technologies, which increase yields and protect the soil.
There are 3 main types of soil: sandy, silt, and clay. Another type is the idiomix and loam, a combination of sandy, silt, and clay. Among other things, soils provide plants with essential minerals and nutrients and protects plants from erosion and other destructive physical, biological, and chemical activity. Soils hold water and maintain adequate ventilation. In the absence of a healthy soil, crops are likely to deplete. A survey conducted by Israeli soil experts shows how Ghana's soil is being degraded due to unsustainable farming practices, removal of vegetation cover including deforestation and overgrazing, mining activities, among others. In view of this, a stakeholder forum has been organized to promote the use of innovative fertilizers, soil inoculants, best soil practices, and influence policy formulation in agriculture production in Ghana. Israel's ambassador to Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, Madam Shlomit Sufa, spoke to GBC News.
This is the first time that our Trade and Economic Mission in Ghana is holding such a program. It's unique, and we hope to be able to repeat it in the coming years. We are very optimistic about how much relevant solutions can be found by Israeli companies to the needs of the farmers in Ghana.
The Director of Crop Services at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Mr. Seth Oseakotu, spoke about the measures to improve the soil health status in Ghana.
We are going to fall on organic fertilizers, which some of them are produced locally, some of them are brought from international markets, but that are not going to be a challenge. That's what we are going to do. And in an attempt to do that, we need to be able to promote it and then also educate farmers how to be able to use organic fertilizers, because organic fertilizers use has become a challenge among the farmers.
The principal research scientist of the CSIR Crop Research Institute in Kumasi, Dr. Francis Tete, tells us about healthy soils.
You know that the soil contains earthworms, invertebrates, or whatever we call them, and microorganisms. When you go to a place and then you see that there are earthworm casts, and then as you plow, you see earthworm, then the soil is very healthy. But when you go to a place when you don't see any earthworm at all, no ants, then there is a problem with the soil.
Organic fertilizers are available to farmers across the country at their district offices.
In a bid to resolve the many conflicts and coup situations in West Africa and its impacts on the economic development and integration, ECOWAS is prioritizing issues of peace building and conflict resolution. This came to the fore at a sensitization workshop on ECOWAS protocols in Takoradi.
ECOWAS, since its inception, has promoted economic cooperation among member states in order to raise the living standards of the people. A recent Africa Regional Integration Index indicates that ECOWAS has performed moderately in the areas of trade, productive, macroeconomic and infrastructural integration, as well as the free movement of people. However, from the 1990s, a major setback to meeting the ideals of ECOWAS were widespread conflict and instability. Participants, comprising chiefs and senior officers of security services, among other key stakeholders, attending a sensitization workshop on ECOWAS protocols in Takoradi, have therefore been charged to focus on peace building and conflict resolution. The Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Mr. Kweku Amprechum Sapong, said regional integration is crucial to achieving peace and security and urged governments to give it the attention it deserves.
ECOWAS being better integrated than other regional economic communities does not imply that ECOWAS has achieved total peace in the sub-region with the best of infrastructure and regulations to facilitate trade among the member states. Rather, this means that ECOWAS community continuously strive to ensure that despite challenges member states implement at the national level, the various community protocols, programs and policies needed to protect the citizenry while trading in the sub-region.
The Western Regional Minister, Mr. Kwabena Ochreda Kumensa, said Ghana believes in the free movement of ECOWAS citizens states and encouraged the sustained sensitization of the protocols to guide people.
The last decade saw a positive aspect also of migration remittances. Nevertheless, Ghana has more resources for border management, but still needs support to fully implement the free movement protocols with a view of protecting migrant rights in enhancing and promoting good governance.
The Executive Director of Media Response, Mr. Samuel Dodu, urged Ghanaians to be abreast of ECOWAS issues in order to enjoy the benefits that comes with it.
You're still watching News live on GBC News and GTV. Today is World Hearing Day, a day set aside by the World Health Organization, WHO, to raise awareness about the importance of hearing. The theme for this year's celebration is to hear for life, listen with care. As part of the awareness creation, the Greater Accra branch of the Ear, Nose and Throat Nurses Group Ghana is in our studio this afternoon to educate us about the importance of hearing. Gentlemen and lady, welcome to News Hour.
Thank you very much.
So, what can I do to avoid hearing loss? Any of you can take it.
Okay, so there are certain things you can do, one of which is to help reduce the amount of noise or sound that goes into your ear. And as you mentioned earlier, this year's World Hearing Day is to emphasize on the need to hear for your lifespan. In that, if you acquired hearing right from birth to a certain age, and then before you die or in your old age you cannot hear, you haven't really achieved your hearing through the lifespan. So we are here to educate people on how to mitigate factors that will cause hearing loss. And one of them is what I mentioned, by reducing the amount of noise or sound that goes into the ear. The other ways are also to prevent putting things in our ear that can also predispose us to hearing loss. Typical example of things that we put in our ear include cotton bud, pen top, car keys, door keys. I mean, anything that feathers, anything that can go into the ear. These are some of the things that can easily cause hearing loss. So our education or our awareness is to sensitize people for them to know that some of these things are dangerous to your hearing. So we must avoid them completely.
Okay, so we are supposed to avoid all these things. And especially with feathers, you know, when you add a little bit of rub, the sensation is just magical. And so why do my ears itch then? And what should I do when I have such a condition?
Okay, so itchy ear, it could be as a result of an infection. It could also be that you have interfered with the cleaning process of the ear. So you have predisposed yourself to itching, in that the ear has wax. The ear produces wax and it has hairs in the ear. So the wax and the hairs are supposed to trap dirt. But the continuous use of cotton bud and other things is getting rid of the dirt or even pushing it further. So sometimes a little dust that is supposed to be trapped by the wax goes into the ear, and on the canal it starts to itch.
Okay.
So we advise that you don't put anything at all. If you feel your ears are itching, just walk into any facility that has an ENT unit. Tell them your ears are itching. The professional will look in your ear. If there is a problem in relation to infection, you'll be treated. If there is the need to have the ear washed, it will be washed for you, and you are good to go. And the good thing is that most of these infections are covered by health insurance. So once you have your health insurance card and you walk into the facility, you get treated for free, and you are good to go.
So experts like you advise us not to listen to noise to a certain level. We must avoid noise at a certain level, right?
Yes.
So if I find myself in an environment where that noise level is so high, what do I do?
So there's what we call safe listening. Safe listening is listening to noise as a decibel of 80. And with that decibel, it means that you can do that listening for 40 hours a week. So if you divide averagely, you're supposed to listen to that level of noise or sound to about 5 or roughly 5.5 hours a day. So beyond that, you are exposing your ear to damage. So when you go into a noisy environment, the simple thing you can do is, with now the smartphones, you just download an app. It's called Sound Level Meter. You can just use it anywhere you go. You just put it on, and then it will tell you the decibel of that's the level of sound in the room, so you know how to protect your ear. You don't go beyond the 80. You can also use ear muffing or ear plugs. So when you go somewhere in a club or a party or somewhere the noise is too much, you can just put it in your ear to reduce the volume of sound that is going into your ear.
So, for instance, when you are airborne, you're in a plane, you are given earplugs or...
Yes, exactly. That's the reason they give, because there is a condition when the plane is taking off and when it is descending, it affects a part of your ear, the middle parts. So it's given so that you don't worry that part of the ear so much. That's why it's given. It's not given because it's part of the package.
Okay, that has to be given to you.
Exactly. You can have a hearing loss with that. It's called barotrauma.
So what about some of us that when we use that earplugs and for a few minutes, then it seems everything is dead. You can't hear anything at all till you open and maybe exercise your jaw. Then you feel like something is just coming out of the ears before you. Because when I'm airborne, it happens to me a lot.
Yes. So that one, it deals with the part of the ear called the middle ear. The ear has 3 parts. So you have the outer, the middle, and the inner. Now with the middle ear, there is a tube there called the eustachian tube. So that is what connects your middle ear to the back of your nose. Now the tube there is there to equalize the pressure. So it's there for a function. It also drains the middle ear secretion and prevents food from getting into it. Now with the height and everything you are experiencing, or sometimes even when you get cold or you sneeze, when the tube dysfunction, it creates that negative pressure in the middle ear, and that is why sometimes it closes. For some people, when they descend, you descend from a plane, it's supposed to open and function. But if you don't experience it, you go to an ENT unit, and then sometimes they give you a medication or we teach you some mechanisms to do to open up the tube, and then the pressure will be equalized. I'm sure you've experienced it before.
Several times.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So there's a technique you would do. Normally you hold your nose and then you try to blow out, and then you to open in the tube. So
that's a good education there. Right, coming to you, sir. You spoke about earwax as being good in a way, but we've been told time and more that earwax is not good. Even when you're on the market, you hear our marketmen say, you are soon. You know, we've always been told that earwax is something dirty that needs to be expelled. So, can you talk about earwax? Why do we need wax in our ears?
The earwax actually is just like sweat that appears on our skin. So the body produces it as a byproduct, which is supposed to come out of the ear. The reason why we are saying earwax is good is, as I mentioned earlier, it's supposed to help trap dirt. Sometimes you get tiny insects going into the ear. If the earwax is there, it prevents them from going further. However, it is because of our attitude or our way of doing things that makes the earwax bad. I mentioned earlier that when you put things in your ear, the professional is able to see your ear better and is able to work in your ear better. But as an individual, if I try to put something in my ear, I don't even see where I am going. I may end up pushing the wax further. And once I do that, continuous pushing of the wax further tends to harden the wax, which becomes very hard, and it becomes difficult for us to wash it. Even with that, it reduces your level of hearing because it goes to block the eardrum. So your hearing decreases. So earwax itself is not bad. Just like we sweat or we wee-wee, it is good for the earwax to come. And for the information of viewers, the ear has its way of cleaning itself.
Oh, so it's self-cleansing?
Yes, it's self-cleansing. As I'm talking now, my jaws are going up and down. If I am chewing, my jaws are moving. So if there is wax that is impacted or is getting impacted, it rolls itself like a ball. So those of us who are very observant, sometimes you lie on your pillow, you wake up and you find a rolled brown substance on your pillow. That is the earwax that has come out of it. So God in his own wisdom has created us in such a way that other parts of the body are able to cleanse themselves. Why do we interfere? So it is the interference by using cotton bud and other things that predisposes us to the other causes such as the hearing loss and other infections that we are talking about.
I'm very happy that you spoke about the ear being self-cleansing. In your presentation, you spoke about washing of the ears. Why do I need to wash my ears, and at what point does one need to have such a procedure?
Right. We know that even as humans, there are people who sweat more than others. So just like the wax, people produce a lot of wax more than others. I have had patients who come to my clinic every quarter because they produce so much wax. And once the person walks in, the person knows I have wax because his hearing has reduced. And he walks in, you wash the ear, and the hearing goes back to normal. So once you observe yourself as somebody who produces so much wax, you can just walk into any facility and have the ear wax washed out. Now, we do that in order to ensure that you don't do it yourself and then cause more damage.
Okay, lady, let me ask you this question. Let's talk about your theme. To hear for life, listen with care. How do I listen with care?
So the listening with care is for this year's World Hearing Celebration. The listening with care is how we expose our ear to noise. You know, the ear, as I said earlier, has three parts. So the third part, which is the inner ear, there is a place that is called the cochlea that harbors the sensory cells or the hair cells, and that is the place responsible for hearing. Now, these hair cells, they are like grass that grow. So when air blows, or let's say that's the sound waves, they go down and then they come back. So sometimes they become tired. So that's why you need to give room for them to come back to normal. But if you leave it and you're exposing your ear to those higher volumes of sound, you lose it forever. And once they are gone, you can't get it.
You lose it forever?
Yes. Hearing loss can be permanent, and sometimes you may need surgery or other things to correct it. But it can also be preventable if you adhere to certain basic things we are talking about, like using ear muffin, or even the headset sometimes you use in your studios to just reduce the sound. You don't expose yourself to loud sound for a very long time. It can be gradual, it can be sudden. So most often the ones we see are the gradual ones. We don't feel it until a point that I realize that, no, I can't hear well. Or when I'm talking, I'm shouting. Or anytime someone is talking, I have to be looking at the face, do lip reading, and all those things before you realize that you are losing your hearing. Though we have hearing loss due to aging, that's because even at that stage, you can still maintain some level of hearing. So the theme for the year basically is that your entire life, if you are to grow to, let's say, 90 or 100 years, you should be able to listen, even though your senses may go down. It shouldn't be like, because now at this young age, a lot of people are experiencing early hearing loss, which shouldn't be so.
Are you such incidences in your?
We didn't come with the statistics on that, but yes, who come when you look at the age limit. He's an audiologist, so if you are getting more younger people coming with audiology coming to your department to do hearing assessments, and there is that level of hearing loss, it's not so good.
Alarming. Yes. So with this kind of a job that we have, I should have an earpiece with my director shouting, and I can't tell my director, please lower your voice because I'm live on air. What do I do to prevent such thing? Because I always have my director shouting,
Maybe he's shouting for emphasis.
Exactly. But then at the cost of losing my hearing.
Exactly.
At a point in time.
Yes, so it's just a matter of, in your case, it's a matter of he not shouting.
And he maybe he doesn't know he's shouting, but because I have it firmly tagged in my ears. So journalists are predisposed to this.
Of course. The reason why we came this year to do you are part of the target audience for this year World Hearing Day, because you use the headset, the earpiece, you use that a lot. So sometimes you don't realize that you are exposing your ear to a lot of sound. So it's just a caution that you do. If you're not, it's not in use, you put it down so that the cells, the hair cell can.
All right, thank you so much. This is good education, and we hope you'll be coming quite often to educate the public on this. It's quite a sensitive organ.
Exactly. There is more to talk about the ear, the nose, and the throat.
We'll welcome you anytime. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Now, moving on at a public forum on the accountability gap in the COVID-19 responses of Ghana and Accra, it was revealed that the COVID-19 National Trust Fund received about 60 million Ghana cedis in cash donations between April 2020 and December 2021, and donations received in kind, including vehicles, fuel coupons, and non-perishable food items, amounted to about 10.7 million cedis. 50 million cedis of the cash donations has been disbursed.
Count that has been given here. I am not privy to whatever has gone in, but was there any kind of audit about this report that indicate that truly these monies have been disbursed in one way or the other and has really for the purpose and has impacted on the way that we are fighting the COVID?
Accountability and especially transparency is very crucial in times like this, when a few individuals who are on the job will take advantage of the entire community. So transparency, I think for me, is a very key word. If we become very transparent, it's at stake, and that even helps with the audit purpose.
So we'll look at it in the context of the Public Financial Management Act, the guidelines that associated the transfer of this fund, and then spending the money within the meaning of the PFM Act. But let me also indicate that the Public Procurement Act issued guidelines that were supposed to guide procurement, emergency procurement within the COVID period. We would also evaluate the evidence to establish the extent to which institutions complied with these guidelines issued by the Public Procurement Authority. I want to assure Ghanaians that the COVID funds are being tracked, accountability will prevail, and not a single person will go down the drain.
The trial of the head pastor of Glorious Word Power Ministry, Pastor Isaac Osu-Bempah, and 6 others who are facing charges of threats of death on one Madame Patricia Odro-Kwarteng, also known as Nana Agrada, has been halted following request from the Attorney General's office for the original case docket. Pastor Osu-Bempah and 6 others have been slapped with 11 charges, and the trial was to begin on Thursday, 3rd March 2022.
During sitting on Thursday, the prosecution in charge of the case, Chief Inspector Dennis Tekpete, said prosecution was unable to proceed with the trial because the head of prosecution at the Accra Regional Headquarters of the Ghana Police Service has directed him to inform the court that the case docket has been recalled by the Office of the Attorney General for further study and advice. Mr. Tekpete told the court the original docket is in the Office of the Attorney General. He therefore prayed the court to adjourn the case from the head of prosecution on the way forward. Court, presided over by Mrs. Evelyn Asamoah, subsequently adjourned the case to March 24, 2022. Madame Patricia Odro, who is the complainant in the matter, was in court for the first time. All the accused persons were also present in court. The head pastor of the Glorious Word Power Ministry, Pastor Isaac Ozubempa, and 6 others, Mensa Ofori, Bright Bechi, Kwabena Nyako, aka Matata, Nane Champong, Nana Brown, and Kwame Amo, are facing 11 charges ranging from conspiracy to commit offensive conduct conducive to the breach of peace, offensive conduct to the breach of peace, conspiracy to commit threat of death, and threat of death. They have denied the charges and have been granted bail in the sum of 100,000 cedis each.
You're still watching News live on GBC News and GTV. We're taking a short break. Please stay with us.
You are still watching News Hour. This is Business, and my name is Esther Edu Ohumewu. The Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, says although the levy is designed to bring every Ghanaian into the tax net, the rate of the levy at the introduction stage still be looked at again. The president of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng, says the policy should be deliberated without the usual politics. In the presentation of government's fiscal statements and economic policy for 2022, the Finance Minister, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, highlighted one important component of the budget, the electronic levy, which he said was designed to widen the tax net. The e-levy was initially pegged at 1.75%, but it was met with resistance by the minority in Parliament and has not gone down well with sections of the Ghanaian public. There is now a proposed 1.5% to be applied only to the originator of a transaction on an electronic platform. This, however, is yet to be deliberated by Parliament. Electronic channels to attract the e-levy include platforms, online banking and Momo platforms. In an interview with GBC News, the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, welcomed efforts to widen the tax net, but was quick to say that over the years, traders have borne more of the burden of taxes implemented by government. He stressed that the rate of the e-levy should be something affordable to all.
We have been calling for expansion of the tax net. In that regard, we will think that anything that will add up to the pace, national pace, that will also enable other areas to have some respite, are goal for such programs. But as to whether the rate that we are putting is affordable for the people, that's one area that we also have to think about.
Dr. Joseph Obeng called for broader communication on the e-levy, especially to the business community, as the taxation.
As traders, we are looking at the areas that may not look that we are doing a double taxation. If we have element of double taxation, how are we going to be allowed to even deduct it on our filing when we are doing our tax returns and all that? These things should be well cast and well communicated to us for the broader understanding of all of us. Then we all aid together as a nation and then make sure that government also enhances on its revenue collection, where they do not necessarily depend on just one aspect of taxation.
The e-levy is programmed to support entrepreneurship, youth employment, cybersecurity, digital and road infrastructure, among others. The Ghana Chamber of Construction has thrown its weight behind the passage of the e-levy. To this end, the chamber says it is going to engage its members to ensure that revenue mobilization from local sources becomes the order of the day. We'll bring you that story later. And the Ghana International Trade and Finance Conference has said a 30% reduction for all goods and a 10% reduction on vehicles is a satisfactory move to please all players in the import community. According to GITFIC, the current benchmark values should be considered as an interim measure which is subject to review in the near future, depending on economic trade indicators. The Ghana International Trade and Conference has therefore appealed for sanity within the trading space of Ghana's economy. In a statement, GITFIC has urged the business community to accommodate and adjust to the government's policies in these rough and tough periods. We'll take the interbank and commodity figures for the day. That's all for business. Thanks for watching.
His choice was to be both a politician and a lawyer, and that choice had repercussions on Ghana's political and legal history. But his exploits in the legal field set him apart as one of Ghana's greatest lawyers, especially in cross-examination. These remarks were made by President Akufo-Addo at the launch of the memoir of the man B.J. Darocha in Accra.
My Life in Law and Politics is the title of an autobiography of one of Ghana's stalwarts in politics and legal numerary, B.J. Darocha. Darocha was instrumental in putting Ghana on the path of democracy between 1966 and 1992. As a believer of the rule of law and democracy, he was a scribe of the Progress Party led by Dr. Buzia from 1966 to 1969, but also played a crucial role in the current democratic dispensation. During his memoir, one of his students for Sikado Keten, Mr. Joe Gatti, described Darocha as a man who completely demystified the subject of civil procedure.
This is a book I recommend to the advocacy and ethics class in the law school. In reading the book, you learn the art of advocacy. I also recommend it to practicing lawyers. There's a lot to learn from the book, even for a practicing lawyer. For a law lawyer, it's an interesting account of the life of a lawyer, and it is very interesting reading. This book also deals with the history of the formation of the Ghana Bar Association as we know it now. But we are told that his other competing passion was politics. Through the eyes of B.J. Darocha, we are taken through the political history of Ghana, from the Nkrumah era to Kufuor.
In his eulogy, President Akufo-Addo said it would be difficult to write a history of Ghana's Fourth Republic without recognizing the contribution of B.J. Darocha.
He was passionate about the teaching of law. And even though there was very little money to be made in becoming director of the law school, he thought that it was very important that the law school should have people at its helm who were genuinely committed to the purposes of the law and the values of the common law system that we have here in Ghana.
Added he was a man who had strong views but bore no grudges if his position was not accepted by the majority.
Indeed, it was at his insistence, the book captures that our party became known as the New Patriotic Party. We went to the Ringway Hotel to announce the party as the National Patriotic Party. It was Darocha's insistence that the word national figured in virtually all the other political parties, and that it was important for us to distinguish ourselves from the others. That is why the New Patriotic Party, rather than the National Patriotic Party, became the name of the party.
A Life in Law and Politics is not only a must-read for students of law and politics, but also for every aspiring trailblazer for his or her generation. Edward Nyaku, reporting for GBC News.
The Ghana Water Company is partnering with a Hars city in Denmark to provide citizens with sustainable water resources. Key focus area of cooperation is technology transfer to find local solutions to some major challenges in Ghana's water sector. The managing director of the Ghana Water Company, Dr. Clifford Breimer, made these remarks when a team of stakeholders from Hars, Denmark, held an open forum with the management of the Ghana Water Company in Accra. He reaffirmed his outfit's commitment to strengthen collaboration to improve the livelihood of Ghanaians. A report by Ofrewa Daku.
Sustainable Development Goal 6 goes beyond potable drinking water, sanitation and hygiene to addressing the quality and sustainability of water resources, which are critical to the survival of people and the planet. In this regard, the Ghana Water Company is adapting smart water solutions which encapsulate innovative, low-cost technologies for wells, pumps, storage and water treatment through the Society of Aarhus in Denmark's Strategic Sector Cooperation Partnership with the Tema Metropolitan Assembly.
I wish to entreat all of us to continue the tremendous work already done. I believe we are on course to achieving our objective of reducing the percentage of non-revenue water in Tema to the barest minimum. Fortunately, the city of Aarhus is here with their good people to inspire and to assist. It is our desire for the Ghana Water Company Limited to replicate the learnings from this project in other regions across Ghana.
According to the managing director of the Ghana Water Company, Dr. Clifford Brymer, the main project output of the partnership is a long-term plan and strategy for reduction of non-revenue water and strengthened systems, capacities, skills and procedures to increase the level of financial and technical sustainable drinking water services in Ghana.
We are sure with this cooperation and the visitations that we make to Denmark and what your officers do here, we'll be able to take the collaboration further from what we are doing currently to look at other areas that can be of use to.
Meanwhile, in collaboration with the Danish Export Association, a delegation of 7 Danish water companies is in Ghana to explore needs and opportunities in Ghana's water sector, gain market insights, and build relationships with potential customers in the sector. For GBC News, Ofeyi Wadako reporting.